There we go. So welcome everyone to your postnatal yoga class this morning. We're going to start with something really relaxing and energizing. It's a restorative yoga pose. So all those pillows that you've just gone and collected, we're going to kind of lean them against a wall or the sofa or the edge of your bed, whatever you've got. Don't worry if you go off camera for this bit, just make sure you're really comfortable. So what you can do is take a couple of pillows and put them this way round at a bit of an angle, so you get a little bit of height, and then take another couple of pillows and put them this way round, so at least two if you're using pillows. If you do have a bolster to hand, these can feel really comfortable to kind of pop on top or use instead of the pillows. And then what we're going to do is just simply take a little seated position. You can just come into a little cross leg position. And then hopefully you've also got a blanket or a scarf or a towel, something fairly long that you can fold up lengthways. And we won't use all this paraphernalia all the way through, but just at the beginning and probably at the end as well, we're just going to find something a little bit more nurturing, because you'll find you'll get more energy from almost doing less sometimes. So I'm going to take my blanket, I'm just going to tuck it underneath my shins and my knees. So my legs feel really supported, and I'm pulling it quite tight. And then as I roll to one side, I'm just tucking the edge of that blanket in under my bottom, behind my hip, and then the same on the other side. So I feel like my legs are a little bit held. And then I'm just going to lean back against my kind of 45-degree, super comfy pillow. And then you can just let your elbows rest down on the pillows, hands on the hips, if that feels quite nice, just to open up across the chest. But definitely let the elbows meet something. So if they're dangling in the air, maybe shove a cardigan or anything that you've got to hand, another pillow under your elbows. Or you can just cross the arms in front of your body and hold on to opposite elbows so that you can rest on your tummy and the arms don't feel like they're going to go anywhere. Then just bringing the chin down a few degrees, we're going to close the eyes here and just take a little moment to arrive for our practice. So we're going to stay awake, but with the eyes closed, we're just dropping our brain into a slightly different brainwave, which already invites a sense of relaxation and promotes a bit of rest. And when we take little pockets of time to promote rest, so whilst kind of staying awake, this active awareness, but in a restful state, it actually helps every cell in the body heal and repair and replicate. So rather than doing the function, the jobs that they do, which requires energy, they have a chance to do their other job, which is to replicate and repair. So this is the thing that keeps us well and keeps us youthful and energized. So don't underestimate the power of rest. It's very, very important, especially for mums, new mums, busy women. We're always so busy. That mental load, remembering to pop the washing on and remembering that we need ketchup and all these little random things that we hold on top of all the other things that we do as mums, and probably holding down careers and being daughters and sisters and friends to lots of people. So just taking this next few minutes just to focus on your breath now. Just feeling the arrival of the breath into your body. Feeling the expansion of your breath. Noticing where do we feel that fullness at the top of the inhale. That slight inflation around the rib cage, expansion around the heart. Can we breathe into a soft belly? And the little pause at the very top of the inhale. And then as we let that breath go, how the ribs draw down and in, how the tummy drops back towards the spine, and how we get a sense of give, letting go as we meet the ground. We meet the bolsters in the pillows. We allow the head to rest, the jaw to release. And just stay with your awareness on that breath, the in-breath, the sensations around the in-breath, slightly more activating in its nature. And then the out-breath, that sense of letting go, feeling the support of the ground. There we go. So just feeling completely relaxed for another few minutes and just now scanning through your body. So feeling the crown of your head. So just staying in this kind of really supported, restorative pose. Legs can relax because they're all tucked into the blanket. Arms can relax because you're holding the elbows or resting them on the pillows. Head can feel heavy. Belly can be soft. Allowing the breath to come and go and feeling completely supported. Inviting that sense of rest. And as we scan down through the head, relaxing the eyes and the jaw, softening the face, the neck and the shoulders, relaxing the arms, just letting them feel a little bit more heavy. Letting the torso relax all the way down the back of the spine. Feeling the weightiness of the shoulders and then the weightiness of the pelvis. And just as we breathe in and out here into the belly, feeling the expansion in the belly and then feeling the belly drop back, just also have a sense of that relationship between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. So as we breathe in, the belly pushes out because the diaphragm presses down, and it also presses down into the pelvic floor. So you might feel a little bit of pressure down into the pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, the belly drops back because your diaphragm lifts back up into the rib cage. It's like a big umbrella that attaches all the way around to the bottom of the ribs, all the way around to the back. And then that means the pelvic floor kind of pings up into the body like a little baby umbrella. So inhaling, feeling that pressure down into the belly. Belly rises, diaphragm flattens, pelvic floor presses down between your legs, just ever so gently. We're not forcing that, we're just watching what is arising. And then as we exhale, belly drops back, diaphragm softens and lifts back up into the rib cage. And your pelvic floor lightly lifts into the body. So don't worry if you can't quite detect that. If you're quite newly postnatal, it can feel a bit subtle and a bit distant, but it does come once we start to create that neural pathway with those muscles. And then moving down into the hips and the thighs, just relaxing those muscles, letting them feel heavy. Moving down into the knees and the shins, down into the ankles and the feet and the toes. I'm just feeling that little bit of support with the blanket tucking you in, the ground underneath you. And just knowing in this moment you don't have to be anywhere else, you don't have to do anything else. You can just rest and recharge. And you might find when you play this back that you just want to do this pose for 10 or 20 minutes. And that could be enough for one practice. So really just allow the final essence of relaxation to move through your whole body, softening any final tensions away, just softening and giving your weight to the ground. And then taking a lovely big deep breath in and a deep breath out. We're going to keep the eyes closed but bring the palms together. Give them a vigorous rub to get a little bit of heat in the palms. Take another big breath in, another big breath out, and then just place your hands over your eyes. Gently start to open your eyes behind your hands and peer through your fingers. And then just give your eyebrows a little massage with your fingertips from inside by the nose, across the eyebrows, out to the temples, Just a nice little massage across the face. So from the inside to the outside. And then underneath the eyes, along the bone, just a little bit of pressure from the inside of the eye around the outside of the eye. Do that 2 or 3 times, and then a few circles at the temple. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then taking your hands, taking your fingertips just lightly from the eyes up over the forehead, over the back of the head, down the neck. And just do that again 2 or 3 times, a little sweep all across the top of the head. Little lovely soft fingertips down onto the neck and the shoulders. And then taking one hand, brushing down the inside of one arm. And then the back of the arm. Just lovely little tingles. And then the inside of the other arm. So you might still be resting in your restorative pose, that's fine. And then the back of that arm. And then a little brush with the hands. So if you're trying to just clean your hands and then shake out those arms. Brilliant. Now take a deep breath in. If you're still back in this position, you might want to kind of curl up onto your side and roll yourself up back to center. Fantastic. Well done. So a really nice little welcome to the class, welcoming yourself to your practice. We're going to take the pillows, fold a pillow in half, and just pop our bottoms underneath it, underneath our bottoms. So we're coming into easy pose, one foot just lightly in front of the other, little rock from side to side, just leveling out the bones of the pelvis. Couple of little shoulder rolls just to get into those arms and giving them a lovely little tingle. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and then hands on the knees, just a few cat-cows here, so just curling the spine up and then opening the chest, rolling the shoulders back. Good. So exhaling as you curl up into a little ball, tailbone under, head down. Inhale as you peel open the whole front of the body, squeezing the shoulder blades down towards each other, stretching the throat and the chin, and then exhaling, curling up again. So just moving cautiously around any aches or pains, or if you've recently had a cesarean, just moving really cautiously as you explore your body. It's done so much, it's changed so much, and now we're just gently going to be rebuilding strength from the inside out. And then as we do this move, we're going to bring in our brilliant breath for postnatal. So as you exhale, we're going to blow out through a little hole in the lips. It's a little bit like the golden thread breath that you did in pregnancy yoga. Inhale as you open the chest. Exhale as you curl up, blowing out a long thread through a little hole in the lips. Or you might find it easier just to visualize that you're blowing out candles on a cake, but there's about 100 of them. So you need to make that exhale really long. Inhale, opening the front of the body. Big expansive inhale, feel the ribs move, and then exhale, gently curling up, blowing out that candle breath. So just with this breathing alone, we're already starting to play with the diaphragm and play with the pelvic floor. Exhaling, we're going to be blowing that breath out as the pelvic floor rises into the body. I'm going to do one more here. Blowing out the breath, finding the pelvic floor, maybe just scooping and sucking in the lower belly, tucking it in, and then coming up to seated. And then just a few lovely warm-ups. We're all really familiar with these ones. Again, if you've done pregnancy yoga, these are all really familiar. So just circling the body, seeing how that feels in the hips. We're going to kind of whiz through the warm-up. So we're going to pause and we're going to circle the other way. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Notice if anything's a bit clicky, a bit creaky, that's okay. But if you get lower back twinges, make your movements smaller, more considered, and a bit slower. Then we're going to just flip the feet around and just do that move again, just to see how it feels in the opposite hip. Relaxing the legs, we're going to grow tall through the crown of the head. That's going to bring in a little bit of stability to the core. And we're just breathing in and out, seeing if you can stay with your candle breath, blowing out the candles, almost with every exhalation. So then we know we're getting that little bit of engagement in the deep core, the pelvic floor, the transverse abs, lightly working. Let's pause, take this in the opposite direction. Inhale. And then below that, breath away. Maybe with another part of your mind, just feeling the pelvic floor lightly respond. We're not really doing anything to it actively. We're just feeling it respond. And then hands up onto the shoulders. Let's bring the elbows towards each other. And then inhale, lift up the elbows, take them back and down. And we're going to do some lovely, big, huge circles here. So inhaling up, spread your toes wide, exhale down. Inhale, squeeze the elbows towards each other. And then take them wide, squeeze the shoulder blades down and back. We're trying to get into those rhomboids. Inhale, exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades. Take those elbows as far back behind you. Blowing out that candle breath. Good. And then just do a few kind of looser movements, like taking the whole arm into it, taking the elbows back, and then taking one arm back, and then the other. So the palm is looking up towards the ceiling as you look at the hand drop down behind you. We're going to just slow this movement down so you can feel all behind the shoulder blade and your rhomboids all engaging. We'll do one more on this side. You can feel a little bit creaky and achy if you've been in awkward feeding and sleeping positions. And then just a couple of circles here, lengthening the fingers out away from you. Big inhale as you bring the arms up. Now let's kind of tense and engage the arms. Hands come towards each other as the arms come over the head. And today we're going to reach the shoulders up to the ears. So a little bit non-yoga-y, but we're just going to go for that lovely big stretch. Then we're going to circle the other way. Spread your toes, keep breathing. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Start to bring those arms all the way down. Good. Feeling that strength across the top of the shoulders. And then a couple of lovely shoulder circles here. Really, really good. So one hand down to the side, just taking a really gentle little side bend, lifting up through the waist, looking up to the ceiling and reaching out to your fingertips. We're going to spread the toes here. We're going to breathe in, breathe out, blow out your candles. Feel the pelvic floor engage. Feel that tummy come in towards the spine. Now, if it's your first few classes, you're going to stay here. If you've been doing this for a few months with me, you're going to start to try to lift the hand off the floor, but it's sort of glued down. So it's just grazing the ground like a millimetre off. It's going to make this much stronger. But if it is your first few classes, keep that hand really resting and just work with the breath. That's enough. Good. Take one more breath here and exhale, hands down. Little shoulder roll. So can you feel how just by pretending to kind of take that hand off the floor a millimetre, it makes it so much stronger? So just save that until you've been practicing for a good 2 to 3 months with me. So we'll do it on the other side. Place one hand down, lean into it. Inhale, reach up tall and come over into that delicious side bend, dropping the shoulder down away from the ear, turning the chest up to the ceiling, looking up to the sky, breathing into those ribs, making a bit of space, breathing out, blow out the candles. Feel your pelvic floor draw up, feel the lower belly engage, and you're just going to breathe in and out here, finding that hold in your core. If you've been doing this with me for 2 or 3 months, start to lift the other hand a millimetre off the floor without moving anything else. Maybe spread the toes, feel that sense of stability and strength through your whole body, really coming from the core as we just hover this hand, lightly grazing the floor. Well done. Keep breathing in and out. Gonna hold it for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Good job, everyone. Little shoulder roll here. Take the hands behind your back. Just gonna spin around to the side. We're gonna just interlace the hands and just peel open the shoulders and lift the arms up as high as you can. And we're going to breathe into that chest and into those shoulders. It's a really nice kind of counter pose for all the forward leaning that we do with feeding and changing and picking stuff up for our babies. So we're just going to open that chest, lift the hands as far away from the body as you can. And as you breathe into the heart, can you kind of lift the front of the ribs up? So sometimes we draw them down, but today we're going to look for a bit of space around the belly. We're going to try and lift those lower ribs up, like you're tilting a basket, your rib cage basket up to the sky. Breathing into that heart, squeezing the shoulder blades, lifting the arms high for one more breath. And gently release, little shoulder roll here. Good, so just taking the hands forwards, just going to lean towards a little forward bend. You might be able to get your elbows onto the ground and just relax the head. We're just going to take a little moment of pause here where we're not really doing anything. We're just going to take a pause and take a breath. Now you might feel this a bit strongly inside the hip, the inner thigh or the glute of the leg that's in front of you. And you might find on the next few exhales, you're able just to relax yourself even a bit closer to the floor, taking your elbows out, maybe bringing your head all the way down. So I want this one to feel really passive, that we're really, again, inviting that sense of give and rest, but also we're probably aware of big sensations around one hip, one inner thigh, one glute. And can we breathe into that? Can we breathe into the back of the rib cage? So almost expand into the back of the waist and the bra strap as if you're rounding and lifting that part of your body up towards the ceiling. But it's just with the breath, and when we let the breath go, there's a softening, there's a release. Inhale, rounding that back, making some space, getting underneath those shoulder blades, underneath the bra strap. And exhaling, release. We're going to go for one or two more delicious breaths here. Really enjoy this little stretch if you can. If it's too much for you, you can always come back up to sitting and do a few circles or a few cat-cows, listening to your body and making the practice really serve you in this moment. Good. Gently coming back up. Let's just flip those feet around. Last one here, ladies. And then coming forwards one more time. So this time we're going to feel it in the other hip, the other inner thigh, the other glute. So whatever foot's in front, you're probably going to feel it on that side. So go to where you can, close your eyes, take a few big sighs, and look for those moments of give, release, maybe gently edging yourself a bit closer to the floor, elbows coming wider, forehead down. And whichever position you find yourself in where you can really rest, then let's breathe wide into the ribs, wide into the waist, into the sacrum. Breathe long all along the back as if you're trying to get those vertebrae to come up towards the ceiling, just another millimetre. Expanding backwards with your breath. Breathing underneath those shoulder blades and the bra strap. We can hold a lot of tension when we're holding and carrying babies, sitting in lots of probably slightly awkward positions for feeding. So you might feel little niggles or little pulls, little tensions. Can you breathe into those? Make a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of space. And when you exhale, look for that sense of release. And relax. Head down lower than the heart. Again, it's slightly restorative. Good. One last breath here. Melt into the floor. And then inhaling, we're going to push ourselves back up, all the way up. When you come up to the top, roll the shoulders up, back and down. And then taking your legs, we're going to spin ourselves around into a little kneeling position. So grab your pillows and you're going to pop 1, 2, 3 pillows on your calves so you can sit really tall and not feel like you're going to get pins and needles in your shins or your feet. So as we sit really tall, let's just have the knees coming a bit closer towards each other. Little sense of maybe squeezing the heels closer towards each other and almost squeezing the bum and the glutes and the sit bones, as if like everything that might be out here is just drawing in towards the center line. So as we squeeze in, we're probably going to get a little bit taller. It's going to feel like we're pressing down into the shins and the feet. So I'm not just floppy, I'm quite active. And I take one hand and place it across to the outside of the other knee. And the other hand can either go on the hip as you look out towards that shoulder, or you can bring it behind your back to support your sacrum. Nice flat hand on the lower back. Now we're going to press down into the floor with the knees and the shins and the feet. We're going to inhale here and then blow out your candle breath as you press this hand on the knee against the knee. So you've got a little bit of pressure pressing the knee back in towards that center line. As you blow out the candle breath, feeling that bit of core support once more. Pelvic floor lightly drawing up, lower tummy engaging in towards the spine. So it should just be responding to the breath. We're going to inhale, exhale, blow again, blowing out the candles. Making your exhale as long as you possibly can. Almost squeezing the last bit of breath out as you squeeze the tummy in a little bit. You can add a little bit of extra work as you press the hand to the knee. And we're going to take one more breath here. Feeling the rib cage draw in and all the tummy muscles draw into that center line in the front of the body, like you're zipping up a coat. And then relax your bottom, relax your legs, let everything go all floppy. Come back to center. Do a little shoulder roll. Relax the tummy. Take a big soft breath into a very soft tummy. And a big soft breath out. And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and kind of find that squeeze. So squeeze the legs together, squeeze the bum, everything draws in. Opposite hand to the outside of the knee, other hand behind you to the lower back. Look to the side. And then when you're ready, inhale, get tall. Exhale, blow your candle breath out. As you gently press your hand back against the knee. So that's creating a little bit of tension, a little bit of strengthening. When you're ready, you're going to take another couple of breaths here. Keep pressing down with your feet, spreading your toes, squeezing your bum, your thighs, your knees, everything is working. Feeling those obliques, those side body muscles coming down and in towards the center, towards the belly button. Feeling the rib cage draw down and in like it's an umbrella closing. Take one more breath and gently release. Well done. Lovely big soft belly. Take a breath in and out. Relax your whole body. Everything feels like it goes wide. And shake it out. So if you're practicing this video again later on your own, you might want to just practice that exercise and build that up so you end up doing 4 or 6 holds, breaths on each side, and just building that up. Now I'm going to come from this move into lovely all fours. And just start off by taking your left leg out behind you. Toes are tucked under. We're going to have a little bit of support today. Toes tucked under, hands wide. Press into the hands so that you round a little bit around the shoulders up towards the ceiling. And just press back into that heel for a moment. We're going to lean into the left hand. We're going to inhale the right arm up. So we're holding it on a diagonal. If it's too much for anyone, if it's your first class or your first month, just keep the hand down and just work on strengthening through the back of the body. A sense of squeezing the thighs back to that center line that runs from your nose to your belly button, all the way down between your legs. And then we're going to bring the hand down and this time place the top of the foot on the floor. Relax the knee and the hip so it goes a little bit like jelly. It empties like a rag doll. And then shake out that leg. Just give it a little shaky, shaky wiggle. So this can be good for any kind of sciatica pain, any kind of pinching in the hip or the lower back. So just give it a really good shake. And then we're going to take that left leg and place it up on the outside edge of your left hand, toes facing out. You might need to walk your hands forward a little bit if you've got a little bit more wiggle room here. And then taking the knee, we're going to just circle the knee around the foot. So this time we're going to circle it to the little toe and then into the big toe and then back. Out to the little toe, into the big toe and back. And then you might find you can walk that foot closer in towards the body. So you're circling into that center line and back. Maybe just dropping down through the hips and the pelvis. If you want to take your hands forward a little bit, just allowing yourself to feel a little bit of spaciousness, a little bit of weight in the pelvis. It can feel really nice if you have had an episiotomy, just to move and make a bit of space all around that area with this kind of movement. And it's also great for sciatica-y type twinges. And then we'll take that leg all the way back. And we're going to repeat that with the right side. So first of all, taking the right foot back, toes tuck under, press into the heel. Feel strong and stable through those legs. So already start to squeeze the thighs as if you're squeezing the thighs together. Lean into the right hand, so the arm's really straight and strong. And then inhale, lift the left arm up and reach it forward. So if this is too much for you, if it's your first month of classes, just keep the hand down and do your candle breath, everyone, so that we're activating that core response. We're feeling the pelvic floor engage. We're feeling the lower belly lift up towards the spine here. And if you're fine with the arm out, you're reaching forward as you reach back with the heel. Good work. Now bringing the hand down, take the back foot and put the top of the foot on the floor and bend the knee and relax the hip so the whole leg goes a bit ragdoll, and then shake it out from hip to toe. Try and make your bottom wobble, and your thighs wobble and your calves wobble. Good. So Tatiana, this is really great for sciatica sensation. So hopefully if you're feeling your sciatica on a particular side, this could be a move that you could just repeat throughout the day for like 2 or 3 minutes on that side. Yeah, it's a really good one. Just really releases the pressure on that sciatic nerve, helps it reorganize back to where it needs to be, and then hopefully it takes the pinching and the shooting pains away with it. Now we're going to take that right foot up to the outside edge of your right hand. You might need to take your hands forward a little bit, and then taking your right knee to the little toe, sweep it into the big toe and then circle it back. So your knee's doing lovely big circles almost around the foot, and you can stay kind of wide and long with this if that feels good for you, or you've got the opportunity to also bring the foot in closer to the right hand so you feel a bit more forwardy and back, and you can make the movement a bit smaller. If you love this, drop the pelvis, let it feel heavy. If it's too much for you, stay a bit higher. Good. So I'm just going to do another couple here for 3, for 2, and for 1. And then as we step that leg back, we're going to open the knees just a little bit wider, so a little triangle through the thighs. Toes are going to touch. We're just going to take the right arm and just kind of like an elephant trunk, we're going to just lift it up to the side, might come up to the ceiling, and then exhale, feed it behind the left arm, and we're going to reach as far as we can and come down onto the back of that right shoulder. So you're on your right ear and you're on your right shoulder, and you can just let your left elbow rest on the floor. So that's the easier version, lifting your shoulder up towards the ceiling. Or you can take your left arm and you can just start to wiggle it out in front of you. So you've got your left hand over your head, pressing down into the mat, at the top of the mat. And you've got your right arm facing up. Right arm facing up and reaching away. Now this is great for the shoulders again. So breathing into the bra strap. Breathing into the shoulder blades and the ribs. Look for that maximum expansion on your inhale. And then the softness and the release into the ground on your exhale, that moment of kind of giving up with the breath. Great for lower back niggles, just breathing into the sacrum. Lovely soft tummies here. So we're slightly upside down, which means all the organs can just reorganize. They don't have gravity pushing them down. We're taking pressure off the pelvic floor. And just taking lovely big soft breaths, maybe coming into more of a twist through the shoulders if that feels good. Try to look up under your armpit towards the ceiling, but no rush for that bit. Take your time. So one more breath here. And if your left arm's straight out, bend it so you can press your hand on the floor to help push you back up to center. We're going to take a breath in center. And then inhale, elephant trunk, left arm all the way up. And then underneath as far as you can reach. Coming down onto the back of that left shoulder, left ear on the floor. Right elbow can land. Or walk out your fingers. Walk out the right hand so it's over the head, pressing down into the floor. And maybe you can look under the armpit a bit more up towards the ceiling. So resting into that left shoulder, we're going to breathe in and out here. Reaching out with your fingertips, wake up your toes. Maybe bring in a little bit of subtle blowing out the candle breath. Can you feel your pelvic floor and core very subtly respond? And then can you really enjoy the softness in the tummy and the back? And a chance for all of those organs just to reorganize themselves. A little bit anti-gravity. We're going to take one more breath here. And then gently walk ourselves up. And we're going to come around onto our backs. Well done, you guys. Really good so far. So have a pillow, not a massive one, but a little pillow under your head. You can always double it up if you need. Coming down onto the back postnatally, what we want to be careful of is if it's your first month or two of practice, is that you come down really carefully to protect your tummy, especially if you've had a cesarean. So you're going to come down onto the side and then roll onto your back. So that's kind of the safest way for you to get out of bed or get up from the sofa if you've been lying down on a sun lounger, is roll to your side and try not to use any abdominal kind of work at the moment. You need to build the core up first. So coming onto the floor, let's bring the feet close into the body, as if we were preparing for bridge pose, which we'll look at later. Knees and feet hip distance apart, so you want a good 6-8 inches between your knees and your feet are going straight forward. Hands, we're going to place the heel of the hands on those hip bones and your fingertips on your pubic bone. And I want you to just start to rock and roll the tailbone up and down, so you can basically feel a tilt underneath your hands. So your pubic bone will be higher than the hips when the tailbone's tucked under and lifting up to the ceiling. And then as we roll the tailbone down to the floor, the pubic bone dips away, it becomes lower than the hips. So just exploring that movement, and we're going to bring in our breath. So just breathing in softly as you inhale, soft belly. And as you exhale, blowing out the candle breath. Just finding a little bit of core response. And if you find that you really can't feel your pelvic floor or your lower belly just responding and engaging gently with that candle breath, another breath you can try is the S breath, where you literally make the phonic sound S. So it's like a snake hissing. As you just roll up and down through the movement. So the hissy S is usually quite a powerful way of finding it. That usually works for most people. And if you find that you really can't feel your pelvic floor, don't worry if it's early days, you know, it will come in a few weeks. You will start to feel it responding again. So either blowing out the candle breath or using your S breath. And then we're going to let your pelvis rest where the pubic bone and the hips feel level. So for you, that might mean you have to kind of press the tailbone down or roll the tailbone up, but you want to find a point where they feel level. It might feel a little bit awkward, but that's where we want to work from, a level pelvis. And then we're just going to take a breath in and start to imagine we can lift the right foot off the floor, but it's glued to the mat. And as we lift, we're blowing out our breath. So either S breath or candle breath. And trying not to roll around to the side, trying not to move the hips or the pelvis. So it's just the right foot's almost going to lift off the floor. And then we're going to release the right side. We're going to relax the foot heavily back down into the mat. Inhale, soft belly, let it all go. Relax your shoulders and your face. Relax your whole body. And when you're ready on your next exhale, S breath or candle breath. Then go to try to lift the left foot off the floor, but somebody's naughtily glued it down. We can't really lift it, but we're going to use all of our muscular effort to try. And then you're going to feel that activation through the core and the pelvic floor again as you try to lift that left leg off the ground. So one of my absolute favorites, this move. And then gently release the leg. So keep going from side to side, just blowing the breath out first. So you've activated the core, then go to try to lift the foot. Keep blowing for the longest breath you can. And then you can put the foot down as you inhale and swap sides. If you've been coming for 2 or 3 months, what you can also do is just keep your foot as if you're trying to lift it off the floor, blow out that breath, and then when you inhale, keep the core braced, and then do a second breath. Inhale again, keep the core braced, keep the foot trying to lift off the floor, and building the third breath. So if you've been practicing for a little while, you're going to go for more stamina. If you feel you've wobbled or the pelvic floor's dropped and you haven't quite got the core anymore, put the foot down, relax, reset, give yourself a moment, and then reapproach, start again. So just working in your own time for the next minute or so, making sure you're doing one side and then the other, so that you're going to be balancing out the body. Either working on and off with the breath, so relaxing on every inhale, working on every exhale, blowing the breath out a little bit first. That's really important. Blow before you go is the funny little saying. Then do the movement. Well done, that's really good. Now we're going to relax the belly, have a second just to let that all go and soften. And then we've got to reconcentrate again. So inhale, exhale, start to blow before you go. And this time we're going to gently try to slide a right leg away from you without wibbling and wobbling the hips or the opposite knee. We want that opposite knee to stay completely quiet and still. Try not to over press down into the opposite foot, but what we're going to do is use the core instead. So as we blow out, we're going to bring that leg back in. So if it's your first few classes, we're just going to stay with the right leg for a moment. You blow the breath before you go, engage through the core, then start to glide that leg a millimetre off the floor. Little bit easier if you've got socks or if you're doing it on a wooden floor than on the sticky mats. When the leg's long, you're almost hovering the leg just a millimetre off the floor. Try not to press into the other foot. Inhale there, and then exhale all the way back in. So it's quite a lot of work. You might need to stop and then have a little rest for a breath or two, and then have another go on the other side. So when you're ready, blow the breath out, begin to glide the leg away, keeping it as literally a millimetre off the floor. If it's a bit too hard, you can rest the leg at the end on your inhale. Re-engage through your core as you blow the breath out, squeezing just gently around the pelvic floor and the lower tummy. It just kind of responds to that breath, holding for sort of 3 out of 10 in strength. It's not super strong, it's very subtle as you blow and bring that leg back in. Good. If you've been coming a little while, you can do the almost holding the leg a millimetre off the ground when it's away from you as you inhale, as long as you can keep your core on, activated, and with your hands on your belly, you want to feel it nice and flat. So no doming, no kind of, feels like a ball of dough. You don't want to feel anything doming up in the tummy. And we're not over pressing into the other foot, so we're making it come from the core. So let you guys just explore that one more time. Blowing the breath away, engaging through the belly, trying not to wiggle or wobble the hips, not moving from side to side, not pressing into the other foot too strong as you take that leg away. Take your time. It's all about slowness and stability. And notice when you've got your leg out that the other knee that's bent hasn't rolled out to the side. We're going to try and keep it completely still. And then as you exhale, drawing that leg back in. We're going to do one last one on the other side now, ladies. Exhale, take the leg away from you. When you're ready, exhale, draw the leg back in. Really well done. Okay, so keeping your feet on the floor. We're going to do the little roll outs now to the side, little hip roll out. So just making sure your feet are back in where they started and making sure your pelvis is straight again. So heels of the hands on your hips, fingertips on the pubic bone. Make sure they're level. So make any little adjustments that you need to. Blow before you go, candle breath or S breath, and then take the right knee, roll it out to the right. So you're leaning onto the right edge of your foot. And try not to wobble anything else. So the left knee's quite light, it's not pressing in any harder into the floor, and the knee is not wobbling. Try not to use your shoulders and your elbows too much. The chin's in a little bit, giving yourself a little double chin, back of the neck is long. And then you're going to inhale with the knee out, and then exhale slowly bring that knee back in as you blow the breath away. Letting the foot land back on the floor. So inhale at the top, exhale, re-engage. Slowly take the knee out to the side without moving the rest of your body at all. Going to where you can, inhaling there, exhaling, re-engaging, just feeling the core lightly respond as you blow the breath away and drawing that knee back to center. Well done, really good effort, really good concentration. We're going to do that one more time on that side. And again, when you come back to practicing these videos on your own, if you really love this move, just press pause and spend another 2 or 3 minutes just working on this move, imagining you're gently squeezing a beach ball between your legs, moving slowly, but just building up your repetitions. So maybe eventually you can do 10 on each leg. Now we're going to pause here, take a soft breath and relax. That's really important. We don't want to be bracing and holding all the time. We need to breathe, and the pelvic floor needs to move up and down, so it needs to relax as well. Big sigh will help. And then when you're ready, left knee. So below before you go, gently roll the left knee out without moving the rest of the body. Left toes lightly flexing towards the left knee as you lean into the outside edge of that left foot. Inhale when the legs open as far as it will go. Exhale, slowly squeeze the thighs towards each other. Just lifting that left leg all the way back in. So the kind of get out clauses that we usually employ to make this easier is we would usually press down into the right foot, press down into the elbows, the shoulders and the head. See if you can keep it all light like it was in the starting position. And can you make this movement really truly come from the core? Using your breath to blow, you know you're activating just perfectly the diaphragm, the pelvic floor and your transverse abs, that lower bit of belly under your hands. Will feel a bit tense, almost like a trampoline when it's active, like a trampoline tension. And then when we bring the knee back up and we take a little pause and a breath and we soften, that tension under the fingers wants to feel really soft, more like a hammock. So you can breathe into it, it can move, and there's no tension in the belly. Well done. So just doing one last one here. Taking your time, moving with control, not wobbling, not compensating by pressing down anywhere else. Blowing that breath out. Really excellent, excellent work, everyone. And then when we come back to center, Just going to need a few more pillows for this next bit. So just bring the knees in and roll to your side so you can collect up your pillows. Now, I've got a bolster here. So if you have got a bolster, this is an amazing bit of kit to have. You can get them from IKEA for about 15 quid. If you haven't got a bolster, you're going to basically use a good couple of pillows, okay, and just try to adapt. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to roll back in and have the bolster or the pillows away. We're going to roll back into where we were on our backs, and then using your hands, using your feet, we're just going to roll up into a little bridge and bring the bolster or your pillows underneath your lower back. So you can completely relax your lower back and your pelvis. It's completely supported and really comfortable. So if you find you just sunk into the pillows, you might need a few more pillows or a rolled up blanket with a pillow over the top. It does need to feel a bit supportive, but it also wants to feel really comfortable. So it's just completely under that lower back. You can have a little wiggle from side to side. Your feet are underneath your knees. And we're just going to relax back into those shoulders. So just chin in a little bit and relax the shoulders. Now, hands on a really soft belly. We're just going to breathe softly in and out. Now, after we've had a cesarean or after we've given birth vaginally, after we've carried babies for 9 or 10 months, you know, it shuffles loads of our organs around in our body, and then suddenly they go all the way back down and they feel a bit heavy onto the pelvic floor. So this just helps allow all those organs just to shuffle around again inside. So we want to just keep everything really soft. You can use your hands and just give your tummy a little soft massage, maybe some circles around the rib cage, around the hip bones, just getting into that soft flesh inside the bones. Little massage around the diaphragm, underneath the breastbone, maybe with the thumbs or the fingers, maybe into the sides of the waist. And I was thinking this one might be really nice for Tatiana. You mentioned something for the stomach, but also if you've had that cesarean, Izzy, you know, just taking the pressure off of it can feel really nourishing. And just all of you've all carried babies for 9 or 10 months, so this is really nice. We're also slightly reclined, so we're just giving the heart a little rest, so it doubles up as a restorative pose. You just need to make sure you're really comfortable. So with the hands on the tummy, we're just going to bring in a few little stretches. We're going to just try to lift one leg up towards the ceiling. If you need to hold behind the thigh to make it easier, you can. And we're just going to point and flex the toes, just gently getting a little point and just lift the foot to the sky. And then the heel, just working into the calves and the hamstrings. And if this is easy for you, you might find you can bring your foot a bit closer over your head. Just keep the legs straight and just enjoy that little stretchy spaciousness all the way down the back of the leg and the front of the ankle as you point and flex. And then a few circles with the foot one way, a few circles with the foot the other way. And then just some tiny circles with the whole of the leg. Don't let anything else move. Don't press into the other foot. Just let the bones of that thigh settle back into the pelvic joints, the hip joints. And then some circles the other way. Nice soft breathing into the belly. And then we'll bring that leg down. And what can feel really nice now is if we just lengthen that leg away and feel like we're having a sort of stretch up over the hip flexor. You might want to even bring your arms over the head. So you're taking a lovely little, very supported opening across the front of the body. We're not actually doing a back bend because the way that we've got the support under our back means that our back is quite neutral, but you're just feeling that space over the thigh and then placing the foot back on the floor, hands back on the belly. Good. So other side, lifting the other leg up if that's comfy for you. Maybe holding behind the leg if you need a bit of support, and pointing and flexing. Just a little bit of effort towards bringing the foot over your head. So you're getting a bit more stretch. But if that means you change something in your back or your tailbone, just leave the leg straight to the ceiling Might be hard to even straighten the legs, so just go to where you can. Don't move the legs bent. Just do what you can, what's comfortable. Circles now with the ankle. Just feeling that lovely movement. Taking a nice soft breath into the belly. Nice soft breath out. Then circles the other way. Big sigh. Relax the face, the jaw, the shoulders. And then gently just supporting the leg as you do a few baby circles with the whole of the leg. Just letting it feel heavy. Letting the thigh bone rest back into the hip socket. Good. So when we feel all a bit gangly and loose postnatally, these kinds of movements help us bring it all back together again. And then little circles the other way. Really good effort, everyone. One more big breath in and out. And then just letting that foot knee bend, foot back to the floor. Gently walk it away from you. Just let the heel rest on the floor. And just enjoy that space over the front of the hip and the hip flexor and the thigh. Maybe bringing the arms back up over the head. Taking a big breath in as you reach forward and back. Big breath out. Good, one more breath here. And out. And you might find that when you bring the feet back down to the floor that this is super comfortable for you. You might want to stay here for the closing few minutes of the practice. Or if you've had enough, just press into the feet. Press the bolster or your pillow down. Roll it down so it ends up behind your knees. And then just let your feet almost kind of touch and your knees flop out. So your legs are making a little diamond shape. Hands again can rest on the belly. We're not doing any belly work now. So relax the pelvic floor, relax the tummy. Take a big breath into the belly. Big breath out. And just for the last big sigh, just really feel your diaphragm press down as your belly rises. And that light pressure almost in sync with the diaphragm, just down between your legs, your pelvic floor fills with air pressure. And then notice the release as the breath goes. Belly drops, pelvic floor, diaphragm ping up. And then we're just going to allow the breath to come and go completely naturally. You can bring the chin in a bit and wiggle the shoulders towards each other behind your back. And you can just rest here with the hands on the tummy. But if anyone feels like you want to get into more opening across the shoulders, you can place the palms facing up either side of your body and just roll your shoulder blades a bit more behind you to open up across the collarbones and then bring the chin down. We're going to close the eyes here and take a moment to rest, to feel the ground underneath you once more. So notice the back of the head, let it be heavy. The back of the shoulders and the elbows and the knuckles, relax. If you're trying to hold yourself in a particular position, can you invite in that sense of give and release and allow the ground to hold you instead? Feel the back of the rib cage resting. The back of the sacrum resting. Maybe a little bit of a lightness around the back of the waist, not quite so heavy there, although it might be on the floor. And then relaxing the thighs and those hips and the knees, just feeling the bolster take your weight, or your pillows, whatever you've got scrunched up under the knees. Feeling the edges of your feet, your heels resting, toes relaxed. And just noticing the softness in the belly as it just gently rises and falls, hardly moving at all. And just as you exhale the breath, just let the breath leave the body. And then see if you can just feel almost like a little vacuum. As the breath leaves the body, there's no breath. Just see if you feel a little concaveness, a little vacuum just underneath the rib cage. You can almost suck it in and up. Just notice how that feels, and then let it go. Inhale, Exhale, let the breath go. No breath in the body. Little vacuum. So you just draw the tummy in. You just kind of use a bit of muscular effort around the diaphragm. And you hollow out underneath the ribs. Don't worry if that feels really weird. If you've never done it before, it can. Just explore deepening that vacuum whilst there's no breath in the body. And then relax the tummy and inhale. So it's really nice for the diaphragm and those internal organs. So maybe if you like that move, just do that one more time. Empty the breath. Go for that little active, muscular drawing in, hollowing out the tummy. You might find once you get the hang of it, you can really hollow out the tummy. So go to where you comfortably can. Only when there's no breath in the body. And then gently release the tummy. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. And then with the jaw releasing and the eyes softening, just notice the sensation of the skin across your forehead. How does that part of your body feel? Just that part of your body. Can we just invite in that quality of rest? We don't have to be anywhere, we don't have to do anything, we can just rest. Noticing the forehead, being aware of our whole body, resting quietly upon the ground, feeling completely supported and at ease. Always thinking about postnatally that balance of doing the core work, doing that breath practice, doing the candle breath every time you go to lift up your babies or pick up a heavy something, just to really kind of retrain the core to function properly. And then balancing that out with really good times of quality rest. So nice hot baths, giving yourself 20 minutes to just soak and luxuriate and relax and listen to some music. Or going to bed early and listening to a yoga relaxation or a meditation. Just building in 5 minutes where you can sit and have a cup of tea and look in the garden at the birds and the flowers or at the sky. 5 minutes connecting to nature here and there. And just know that those pockets of rest are just as important as the physical exercises. So always taking time to balance that out each day. So gently just start to listen to the sounds around you. And if you're on your back, resting knees over bolsters or pillows, just step gently into your feet and roll to your side. Don't matter which side, just curl up, knees bent, head supported. And just take a breath or two there as you relax for a moment. We just want to come out of Shavasana really gently so we can take some of that peacefulness with us. Nice soft breath into the belly. Eyes softly opening, taking in where you are. Noticing how you feel. Noticing what you can hear around you, outside. What you can smell as you breathe in. And then gently pressing into your hands, rolling yourselves back up into a seated position. Well done, everyone. Really fantastic practice. So when you get to the top, just a couple of shoulder rolls. Maybe just move the head, move the spine. Just make sure you feel all okay. And then we'll bring the hands together at the heart. Bow the head down. And just take a breath there with your awareness inwards. Just take a moment to set your intention for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Maybe just moving through the day with a bit of awareness and some kindness for yourself and for others, coming from a place of peace and love. And then to each other, we just say namaste. Namaste, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Well done. Yay.